Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Just a forewarning, I believe I am getting sick. 'Tis the season and all that good stuff. So if you hear me coughing or if you hear me not as loud as I normally am, I do apologize. Pretty sure I'm getting sick. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have noticed or should have noticed or can guess exactly what the headline is going to be for today. It says Bitcoin's price rallied by 5.5% across above the $7,600 resistance, briefly gaining above $8,000 and leading traders to call for a trend reversal. On Monday, during the U.S. evening trading session, Bitcoin's price continued to rally from $7,358. At the time of writing, the price pushed as high as $8,000 for the past week. Traders have been closely watching to see if Bitcoin could flip 7,400 from a resistance to a support. And many suggested that a sustained move above 7,600 would open the door for a shot at 8,000 to 8,200. So we actually ended up doing it just a couple of hours ago. Bitcoin, for some reason, has been doing extremely well. The majority of the cryptocurrency market has also been doing extremely well. For those of you who have not noticed, another part is we see I don't want to use the word divergence, but there's definitely not a full-blown rally amongst the entire market. There are many coins that are doing incredibly well, and there are other coins, some even within the top 10, that are struggling. I'll try and get to that a bit later more as we're going over prices and stuff like that, but there's definitely a clear, I hope, I'm not sure, I doubt it, if we've gotten that far as a crypto community yet to realize the actual true value of many coins, but there are many coins that are not going up, especially when you look at their actual trading volume during a moment where Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin had gone up from, I think it was 6,800 to 8,000 where it currently is right now, around, give or take a couple of bucks, over the course of a 1 to 2 week period. That is still absolutely phenomenal for gains as far as any investment, but other coins aren't faring as well. Anyway, the news now that we have to look forward to, that we're going to be hearing, I'm sure, over the next week or about probably until the end of this week, is that we're looking for Bitcoin to go above 8,000, stay there, and then of course, I mean, you can kind of guess what the news has been. Once Bitcoin goes over 8,000, the next stop is 9,000. Once Bitcoin goes over 9,000, the next stop is 10,000. Once Bitcoin goes over 10,000, you guessed it. That's just how analysts say things work. And yeah, like I said, that's the top news. Everyone's very excited, dare I say, because Bitcoin's price and the majority of the cryptocurrency market has been doing fairly well for 2 weeks in a row, and this is something that we have not seen in a while. And let's move on. Next up, the cumulative sum in dormant or unmoved Bitcoin addresses has surpassed 12.58 million Bitcoin, worth just above $100 billion at the current price. It indicates most investors are holding strong despite volatility in the market. It also demonstrates that amidst one of the steepest falls in recent history from 13,900 to 6,400, the majority of investors who were holding onto Bitcoin, as pointed out by a research firm known as Rhythm. In the short term, the price movement of Bitcoin is likely to be swayed by trends in the margin trading market through platforms like BitMEX and Binance Futures. Oftentimes, long or short squeezes trigger a significant price movement to either the downside or the upside, creating large volatility in the crypto market. In the long term, however, macro and fundamental factors will determine the pathway of Bitcoin. Fundamentals for the dormant cryptocurrency are considered to be the metrics such as hash rate, user activity, and declining supply or scarcity. So, a lot has happened in the first week of this year. I'm sure you've seen the memes. I'm sure you've seen the news. It appears that we could be in the midst of another international something. This is not a political channel. However, when you look around for reasons as to why Bitcoin has been moving up, A lot of analysts say that this could be the reason, as people may be potentially now thinking about considering to someday in the future consider Bitcoin as a store of value. There also apparently have been cracks in the stock market. The last couple of days, a lot of analysts who were calling for a crash in 2019 have been going on TV saying that things were just simply propped up, and they don't think that things can look that good for much longer. When we talk about the actual supply of Bitcoin that is currently circulating, I often have said before in the past, I don't think, once again, that there's as much Bitcoin circulating as people think. And I don't mean the entire supply that has been mined, moving around in a circle amongst people. I mean actually circulating. If I have 10,000 Bitcoin, which I don't, if I had 10,000 Bitcoin, and it was in my ledger or on a computer or inside of a vault for the past 7 years, those coins are not circulating. The amount of circulating coins, I believe, are roughly lower than 3 million. And I say 3 million as even a high number because we know that cryptocurrency exchanges hold large amounts of coins. These coins are not going to move en masse all at once. The entire point being, during previous price fluctuations within any coin, within the cryptocurrency space, if we're focusing just on Bitcoin here, whenever there were major fluctuations and people thought that stuff was going to go sideways, go bad in a type of price-wise way, people would swap out of their Bitcoin immediately. And this was even before we had stablecoins. People would swap into other coins, and this is why before we had stablecoins, the market was very fascinating. Because we also lived in a space where you couldn't just simply swap out into cash, a fiat currency. You had to swap into another coin. So there were definitely some days where Bitcoin would drop by 8% and Ethereum would skyrocket by 23%. It was a weird market because no one else had a spot to really push their coins into. And this is why we see a bit more of a stable market as we have stable coins. The fact that we have these massive price fluctuations and people have not sold and these coins have gone unmoved is a major indication to me, and I hope to many of you, that people are accumulating. And when they are accumulating, they're stashing their coins somewhere. And when they're stashing their coins somewhere, it's because they're not going to be used for a very long time. Me, and a couple of my other friends who invest in major cryptocurrencies, we've all pretty much come to the conclusion that we're not going to move our coins for a very long time. They're there. They're going to sit there. They are wherever they might be, and we have no plan. I have no plans of even thinking of using Bitcoin as a payment method until it is over at least $500,000 per coin. So, I like when we get news like this because I hope that it puts it into perspective for many people out there to really realize that during the course of a movement from $14,000 to near $6,000, those coins did not move. And I assume, as always, if Jack Dorsey, the Gemini twins, other major banks, institutions, financial entities are still buying up and or mining Bitcoin, these coins are probably not also going to be sold off as well. So just always something to keep in mind. I don't even think that it's bullish so much as realistic. Rich people have come to the conclusion that investing in cryptocurrencies, investing in Bitcoin is going to make them, if not millionaires, to billionaires. And also we have had the news before, that the world's first trillionaire may actually come from the cryptocurrency space. You wouldn't sell that. Especially if you're betting on something that big, you park it somewhere. Anyway, that's the that's even more than half of Bitcoin supply. 12.58 million Bitcoin have not moved, and they're probably not going to anytime soon. Let's move on. Next up, the percentage of transactions using segregated witness, or SegWit, has hit a new all-time high above the 65% mark at the beginning of the year, as adoption for the scaling solution keeps on growing. According to data from the website created to track the usage of SegWit, I can feel my voice like usage of SegWit on the Bitcoin network. Transactions using it have jumped from almost 36% in September of last year just over 65% on the 4th of January. There's that spike right there. SegWit usage is used or said to be the growing partly thanks to the cryptocurrency exchanges adding support for it in October. For example, Bitfinex added native SegWit addresses for Bitcoin withdrawal shortly before BitMEX did the same. It says SegWit is a protocol upgrade to the blockchain, which helps reduce transaction sizes and transaction costs by removing the witness or signature data from transactions. Litecoin, often seen as the silver to Bitcoin's gold, adopted the scaling solution first and saw its SegWit usage hit 75% in September of 2019. Without going too deep into the crypto politics, SegWit was mainly initiated, activated, created, used to bring down the transaction costs of Bitcoin and the bulkiness of transactions on the Bitcoin network. It worked, which then led to a lot of ridiculous infighting. I had a conversation with my very dear close friend yesterday, on the phone for about a good 2 hours. Whatever. I was gonna get into the entire conversation, but I won't. It pretty much came down to why Bcash was created, and people saying, "Oh yeah, I don't like that one upgrade, so I'm gonna create the real Bitcoin." You're a scam. You know it. Stop doing what you're doing and just get back to the number one coin. The entire point being, SegWit adoption has actually worked. We had lived in a situation in 2017 where Bitcoin transaction fees were anywhere between $20 and $30 US. That's not a fake number. I remember sending transactions for $15, $18, $24. It was not that fun, but it was during the hype of the market before infrastructure had really been built. And now we have a situation, I don't know if you remember, it had to be somewhere around summertime, and they were talking about the actual activation of SegWit across many different cryptocurrency exchanges, and they were saying that because of this, Bitcoin's transaction fees were 25 cents and so cents. And when we had the other news, who was it? I think someone sent $1 billion in Bitcoin or something like that, and their transaction fees were, what was it, $1.25, and everyone was like, woo, SegWit. So I assume this will go higher. I assume institutions or banks or networks, whoever's trying to integrate with all of these things, and they're trying to figure out a way to not remain relevant, but to get more into the space, they're going to look for things like this to be able to adopt. Nobody wants to send a Bitcoin transaction and pay $30 in fees. People want to pay $1, usually less. And this is why also the Lightning Network has also seen a huge, massive spike in adoption, because people want faster payments and they want cheaper payments, and we have them. We can get them. It's just about flipping the switch. Let's move on. Next up, the European Central Bank remains open to the idea of a digital euro equivalent, but would want to stop citizens from holding too much of it. Yeah, you heard that right. This was the conclusion of a fresh working paper on so-called central bank digital currencies by Ulrich Binzeil, the bank's Director General of Market Infrastructure and Payments, on the 3rd of January. The paper deals with the prospect of issuing a central bank digital currency for the European Union, and also touches on the differences between such a currency and cryptocurrency stable coins. The issuance comes as China edges closer to becoming the world's first state to issue a central bank digital currency. The European Central Bank, like other major banks, has stayed risk off on doing likewise, despite the potential disadvantages of not competing with Beijing. A lot of the articles that I've been reading and that you're going to read have been saying, and you'll see it in here as well, that these major entities have decided against central bank digital currencies. The fact that we, me, you, I, us, get news about this every other day clearly means that something is in the works or that it's being tested in some sort of way. Imagine if I spoke about bananas every other day, and you'd be like, okay, well, he clearly wants to buy some bananas because he keeps talking about it. Clearly something is happening with these major entities. The fact that they keep having discussions and we keep hearing about said discussions lets us know that they're definitely, in my opinion, probably working on them somewhere behind the scenes. The paper deals with the prospect. I think I went over that and closer. Specifically, here we go. Binzeil proposes a two-tiered interest rate system, which would offer unattractive rates to holdings above a certain threshold. This, he says, would reduce the likelihood of savers selling fiat for the central bank digital currency in times of crisis. The equivalent of a run on the banks when the banks do something wrong and people literally run to the banks to get their money out of it. Savers could potentially move funds out of the European Central Bank's jurisdiction much more easily than they could via the banking system under such circumstances. This is part of the discussion that I had with my friend as well. We are going to live in a world, and we are currently at the threshold. We are walking into a world where we are going to have corporation coins, we are going to have central bank digital currencies, and we are going to have free coins. Permissionless, you can do whatever you want with them coins. Global leaders are at a crossroads themselves because they are trying to figure out a way to gain control and keep control without seeming like monsters. They have already proposed a system where if you are holding too much money, it is unattractive for you to hold and or sell said money, or for you to simply find a way to cash out of their money. Let's say every country in the world has a central bank digital currency. And we've seen for the past 8 weeks that Europe has been showing many cracks in their system. What happens when everything is digital and everything can be sent instantaneously? People go, well, I'm afraid of what's happening to the digital euro. I'm going to sell for the digital yen. And en masse, people take out their phones. No one has to run to a computer. Even more so, no one has to run to a bank. No one has to stand in line for hours, hoping that looking at their watch, that they will still be able to get inside by 5 p.m. Everyone simply takes out their phone, clicks on an app, and says, sell. I don't want this anymore. I'm going to go to another stronger currency because I've heard very good things. And the growth prospect for that other digital currency, central bank digital currency, is looking very well right now. The euro collapses almost overnight. 25% of its value has been wiped out, and the digital yen, the US digital dollar, and the Zimbabwean digital currency has also skyrocketed by 16% because of new infrastructure that's being built. That's a no-no for central banks. That cannot happen, and they're trying to find a way. You have to understand, if they could, if people would not revolt and freak out overnight, they would have initiated this already, and they would have said, okay, if you sell our coins, your bank account will be locked. When you use our money, it has to be within our countries, our jurisdiction. If you are trying to swap it into another currency, you have to tell us, and you have to wait 48 hours until we give you the go-ahead to be able to swap the 10,000 that you need to be able to travel. You know who already does this? China and many other countries. This is exactly what they do, and this is how they regain control. Governments and central banks do not want a way for people to easily be able to swap their money out of their money. It is dangerous for their systems, and this is something that they do not want. And this is why a lot of them are, my opinion, moving towards trying to create central bank digital currencies that allow them to have control, but also at the same exact time be able to tell people that this is exactly what you were using before. It's simply digital. They're using this to be able to track people. They're using this to be able to see what people are doing, where they're buying, where they're selling, and how much money is going in and out. It is abundantly clear. And part of the problem that they're going to have relatively soon, and I'm pretty sure they're also having many discussions on this as well, is when you have permissionless blockchains. Imagine a situation where over the course of a 10-year period, Bitcoin and Litecoin have been going up dramatically. Bitcoin is currently sitting at 247,000. Litecoin's around a good 18,000 US dollars. We see over the past 6 to 8 weeks, a lot of cracks in the system. We're getting news reports of banks collapsing. Something's not right. The inflation rate of central bank digital currencies are going absolutely wild. And people sit there and go, my friend made a lot of money off of Bitcoin the last couple of years. I think I'm going to swap into that. You get swapped into Bitcoin, you get swapped into Litecoin, which in 10 years have private transactions built on top of them. Where does that money go? The government doesn't know. And over the course of that time, over the course of the next 6 weeks following that, you realize you've actually made a good 18% on your money, more than the 1% that your bank is currently offering you to keep your money in their account. I think I'll switch it into Bitcoin. I can buy just about everything that I want with Bitcoin. This is the world that we are edging into. It is very close to us, and the constant news from centralized entities about creating their own digital currency, trying to find ways. They've proposed an unattractive rate, and we have the news for it. I wonder what the world is going to look like when Bitcoin hits $100,000. When Bitcoin has a $2 trillion market cap and is 1/4 of the way to gold, we're not going to start seeing cracks in the system. We're going to see fissures and massive earthquakes taking place because they are going to try and do everything that they can to regain, maintain, to keep, and bring back control. And at that point, it'll be too late. Anyway, this is real news. This is actually what's happening. And without further ado, let's move on. I'm trying to, keep my voice as good as I can. I think I'm doing okay. I know I don't sound the same. Trying to pull back a bit just so I don't, overexert. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance has confirmed it will offer euro trading against 6 current cryptocurrencies in the platform's latest fiat expansion. In a blog post on the 3rd of January, Binance confirmed trading pairs for the euro against Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, and Binance Coin, as well as against Tether and the Binance USD. This is part of the news that we went over yesterday. I don't think we went over the beginning part that we just spoke about right here. The news that we went over yesterday was that Binance was adding support for 180 plus fiat currencies, and I talked about how cool that was, but I don't remember going over the fact that they had finally added trading pairs on Binance against the euro and the top coins out there. Once again, Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, and Binance Coin, and also Tether and Boost, but that's neither here nor there. Next up, Burger King Venezuela has confirmed a new partnership with Crypto Buyer on Instagram. The fast food giant announced to its 124,000 followers that customers can now pay with popular cryptocurrencies. They are Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Dash, Binance Coin, and Tether. They have the word Ethereum here twice. Crypto Buyer's point of sale system is rolling out as a pilot in an effort to serve all 40 locations nationwide in 2020. The first locations is the Burger King at Centro Sambil, Caracas, the 6th largest shopping mall in South America. Here's the actual tweet right here. According to the announcement by the Dash team, they said Burger King has been training its teams in stores during the past weeks. It will slowly roll out Dash payments into all stores in Venezuela with plans to also accept the other cryptocurrencies in Crypto Buyer's portfolio. Very smart of them. They made sure not to list anyone else's coin except for Dash. Very smart of them. For those of you who don't know, Venezuela's fiat currency is worth, I think, and this isn't a joke, I think someone calculated, and I think it's worth as much as dirt or as much as sand. I'm not laughing. That's exactly what it is. Their country has undergone 1 million% hyperinflation. That's 1 million. It's terrible. So what's happened over the last 2 years is that we've seen massive spikes up in people buying Bitcoin and buying other cryptocurrencies within Venezuela. At the same exact time, the Venezuelan government created their own cryptocurrency called the Petro, which was supposed to just be based off of their petrol reserves. I think we also had indications that it was also now backed by their gold holdings, which I believe aren't a lot. No one's using the coin, and what we've seen once again over the last 2 years is that people have actually started mining cryptocurrencies, which I think were made illegal, but people still have their little machines somewhere in their house, because you mining 1/1000th of a Bitcoin is still better than you. People said they were getting their paychecks in Venezuela, and they had to run to the supermarket with cash in their arms, full of an entire pillowcase full of cash to be able to buy eggs and to buy flour. And by the time they got to the supermarket, their money was already worth less, so they couldn't even get it. So people have been using cryptocurrencies within Venezuela as a means of payment, as a means of stabilization. This is exactly what the point of cryptocurrencies is for. Cryptocurrencies, despite popular belief, are for people who are going through situations like this, who are going through situations where their governments are not doing what a government probably should be doing. And when people are hungry, they're going to find other methods. So the news that we had, once again, it's been about 18 months now, is that the Dash coin was, I think, the first one to really permeate within the Venezuelan market. And there were videos of people buying Subway sandwiches and like nachos and stuff like that with Dash. There was a guy who made tons of videos. I don't know if they ever became popular, but it was definitely him going into stores and he was asking people, "Can I pay in bolivars," which was their still is kind of their current currency. And people were like, "No, our machines are down. Can I pay with card? No, the system's down. Can I pay with crypto?" Yeah, that's the only thing that's actually working right now. So this is how this guy was actually eating. Long story short, the Venezuelan government, this is the whole history lesson, the Venezuelan government came forward last year, I believe it was last year, or was it the end of 2018? It doesn't really matter. The fact that it happened is significant. The Venezuelan government said, by law, by decree, any remittances that wish to enter this country can only be in 4 forms. And they said it has to be by the bolivar, which is their paper currency. It has to be by the petro, or the other only 2 options were Bitcoin and Litecoin. And the fact that Bitcoin and Litecoin didn't skyrocket by 9 million% still has me perplexed, but I think people tend to just pay attention to the news that happens within their country, not realizing that a lot of the usage of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is because of situations like this. And it's completely taken off. When a country tells you, if we had any type of news in 2012 or 13 that Bitcoin had been openly accepted as a payment method by a country, Bitcoin would have gone up by at least 3,000% over the course of a 6-month period. There's no getting around that. So to bring it on home, you can now buy stuff at Burger King in Venezuela using Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Dash, Binance Coin, and Tether. That's very significant because this is only where things are going to continue to go. I don't know if you've realized there have been many other companies who've also come forward in however much time talking about that you'll be able to buy this with crypto, buy this with so and so. Eventually, it will be a payment method everywhere. And I think people miss the point of when you can pay with it everywhere and prices go up, people will start paying with it. I don't think people get the significance of that. And once again, people tend to focus on how much the price is right now, as opposed to the fact that we are living in the year 2020 and you can just about pay for everything on this planet already with cryptocurrencies. I think people miss that part, that we're actually in the future and we're using digital payments, and you can pay for everything digital in crypto on decentralized permissionless networks if you choose to do so. Here's the actual, I almost said tweet. I'm so used to saying the word tweet. Here's the actual Instagram post for it right here. And without further ado, let us move on. To finish things off, for those of you who don't know, it says XRP is leading a crypto market rally. This was yesterday on Monday. The 3rd largest cryptocurrency is currently up by 10.96%. Last time I looked, I think it was 12%, according to the market data aggregator CoinMarketCap. The rally follows news that Binance's Futures has launched perpetual futures contracts for XRP. The contracts are tradable against Tether, and users can choose between 1 and 75x leverage. Futures trading is extremely risky, with the potential for big profits and devastating losses. I mentioned that before. There was a guy who lost, I think, millions in Bitcoin because I think he had entered the wrong number. I forgot what it was. The point is, the entire market has been going up for 2 weeks. It's fascinating to look at because it's something that should have happened before. XRP in particular, when you look for XRP news, there doesn't appear to be at the moment, unless I've missed it on the 13 websites that I use, there doesn't appear to be any major significant hyper crazy news about XRP, about JP Morgan using it, about anyone else crazy using it. It has to do with the fact that a lot of traders have said that they became very bullish on XRP because other traders kept on mentioning how low that XRP had gone, i.e., that XRP had officially hit a bottom. When everyone else starts bragging that your coin is garbage, that your coin is so-and-so, we've seen this before as well. When other major, I want to use the word opponents, other people who hate Bitcoin came forward and they were talking about, yeah, looks like Bitcoin just hit a new low. Bitcoin would rally by around 14-15%. When other people tend to be cocky, dare I say, it's usually an indicator that a coin has bottomed. And for the past couple of weeks, we had indicators that people were saying that XRP looked like it was poised to have a rally of some sort, and it has done so. The numbers that people are looking for XRP right now are for it to hit, I believe, over 24 cents, which they think will then lead a quick movement above 26 cents. And I saw a couple of people saying that if this momentum continues, XRP looks like it could be aiming for 50 cents. Once again, this is all following news that it appears as if the cryptocurrency market has bottomed in price. People have continuously tried to push Bitcoin down lower, and it has not worked. Remember the jumps that we kept on seeing over and over the past 3 months? Bitcoin kept hitting the exact same amount and bouncing back over and over, and apparently it just won't go lower anymore, and this appears to be the reason for the movements up. And it's also nice to see that it's not doing 18% movements upward, because this would indicate that there's a lot of hype in the market and a lot of bubbles that are going to start forming. I know other assets don't perform as well as Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has to do a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. Bitcoin has to go up between 1 to 2.5%, 3% per day to give us healthy growth to get back to where we were before. Any jumps by 38% in Bitcoin's price, 14% per day, 8% per day, so and so and so, then you got to start worrying about when it's going to go back down. But as of now, Bitcoin looks healthy as it moves up. Yeah, that's for those of you who are wondering. Like I said, at the moment, at least of me making this video, I could not find any other news as to why XRP was shooting up. Perhaps, it could be a situation like we've seen many other times before with many other coins. It could be, now this is 1000% speculation. I repeat, speculation. It could be that XRP is going to be added to a platform or is going to be used by a company, and people within that company may have gotten wind of it, and they may be, okay, let's start buying it now. Or simply because I think the Ripple team said that they want people, if anyone wants XRP, they now have to go through the open market. So if there's an entity who potentially is planning on using XRP, they may simply be buying on open market. Once again, speculation, but it does make a lot of sense for a coin to go up by, I think it was 3%, and then it was 6%, and then it was 12%. So just trying to use logic, as it were. My throat is killing me. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nostromo, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Nields, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Wheezy, Mechanic, Strange, Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas from Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Krypton Beer, Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Sammy Baucha, Ting Tang, Walla Walla Bing Bang, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ARRF Medic 17, ARF Medic, I like ARF Medic, it looks cooler, Bake Me a Cake, and Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop, Hummer Hummer Wang Dang. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Sorry I couldn't read out your names with as much enthusiasm today. I'm going to have so much tea. You don't understand. If you've never had blueberry tea before, you're missing out. I just got, what was it? It was ginger, turmeric, mango, or something like that. I'm going to have tea the entire day. At the moment, for those of you not looking at the screen, the top 10 are all in green. Bitcoin is currently up by 4.57%. It hit 8,000 and has slunk back down a little bit, but to be fair, it also went up and is constantly going back down. Always, nothing goes up forever. There has to be a bit of a movement in the price. Ether is currently up by 2.15%. You may notice a trend below the other coins. They're all red in their Satoshi values. People are trading off their altcoins and pushing them into Bitcoin, as people are expecting. This does not mean that it is going to happen, but people are expecting a potential rally in Bitcoin's price during the rest of this week. XRP is currently up by 7.16% over the past 24 hours. Currently sitting at 21 cents. I assume it will continue to do. The volume on XRP has also skyrocketed. We were at, I think, 700 million about a day ago. That is thrice 714.21. Yep, that is 3 times what it currently was just about 3 days ago. It's doing extremely well. The only coin not doing well in the top 10 is SV. You know how I feel about it. I will not say any more. I think there's also another coin that's like, there's certain, you can see it's kind of all over the place. A lot of coins. Now here's where it gets fascinating. I don't know how many of you listen to podcasts. I don't know how many of you have listened to speeches by Andreas Antonopoulos or any other major cryptocurrency figure within the space. They always come to the exact same conclusion. At some point, altcoins will start to perish. No matter how much Bitcoin is going up, no matter how well Bitcoin is doing, altcoins will not be able to sustain themselves anymore because they're not being used. We will see situations where coins will pump up, like this coin right here. It has $300,000 volume compared to 2.4 billion of XRP. It's very easy to move prices on any coin with a little bit of money. I mean, 300,000 isn't a little bit of money, but you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Altcoins, the last year has been very fascinating because it's allowed us to see a market that hasn't been doing well during periods when Bitcoin has done well. You remember when Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 14,000 over the course of a 2-month period? Remember what happened to all the altcoins? The altcoins either stayed the same or they went into the red. And even more so when some of them were in green, their Satoshi prices were going down. Bitcoin has created a situation where it is incredibly powerful and people are understanding that Bitcoin may be in the future one of the top coins that people put their money into. And we keep seeing this over and over, except for XRP, because XRP is going through the motions right now. Anyway, the entire point being, whenever Bitcoin does slightly well, altcoin Satoshi prices tend to suffer, and this will happen more and more. And the interesting part is, here's what I heard in a podcast one time, and it actually caught me off by surprise. When you see the Satoshi value of a coin going down, but the US dollar value going down, people don't realize if you get to a certain point where this US dollar price is going up, but Bitcoin is really rallying, really trying to go up, you trying to buy Bitcoin by swapping out your Ether will have, you'll get less Bitcoin than you normally would because the Satoshi value is going down. That's kind of the whole real ticker. Like I remember hearing years ago, the Satoshi value was going down, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then you realize, oh, right. If we do get to a period where Bitcoin is rallying and other altcoins are going down, or the Satoshi values are going down, you swapping into Bitcoin will have less of an impact and you will receive less Satoshis than you normally would have. There's something to keep in mind. And always, please remember this. A lot of these coins are not being used. A lot of these coins are not going to be used. A lot of these coins, 2 of them in particular, one coin, 99% of their transactions are happening between 2 addresses who are swapping money back and forth to make it seem as if their coin is being used. And another coin, 99% of their transactions are happening through a weather app. Please pay attention. Just because a coin is rallying, because a coin is going up, does not mean that you have to buy it. There's always something to keep in mind, because when garbage burns, it stinks. So just make sure that you're not holding a burning bag of garbage, and your portfolio will probably be fine. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all, every single one of you, once again, for watching and or listening. I'm going to go relax. It's very difficult. I work a lot on the other channel. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have definitely noticed. I upload 2 videos a day there. I was going to try and make it 3 videos a day, and I was like, cool it, because I am very motivated always. yeah, I'm going to try and relax today. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.